If you believe in the mathematics of infinity, how should you deal with disbelievers? If we were to speak the mind of many mathematicians, it might go something like this. We don't mind being asked about 0.9 recurring by those willing to learn by accepting what we tell them. But we do mind the annoying people that simply won't be told. They don't understand convergence. They can't conceive of a countable infinite set, never mind an uncountable one. And they can't get their heads around the basics of real analysis. Then in all their ignorance, they have the audacity to insist that we're wrong and they are right. These people always think that 0.9 recurring relates to a process. Just because by their logic it can't equal a fixed value. It doesn't matter how many times we explain to them that 0.9 recurring is defined as the limit of the sequence, and that we decide on the definitions and we decide on what we accept as valid logic, not them. They still think that they are correct and all the experts are wrong. It seems like they always want 0.9 recurring to have a real world meaning. We are not saying that 0.9 recurring can physically exist with infinitely many digits. It's merely a symbol that represents the limit of a sequence, that in turn relates to a real number, which is a concept that can be defined as an equivalence class of Cauchy sequences. This means it's the abstract structure of an infinite set containing infinitely many different but equivalent sequences, each of which contains infinitely many terms. But they think a number should have a tangible meaning that can relate to the real world and which doesn't use the concept of infinity. We can explain to them why infinity is useful, but they won't listen to us. We can give them examples of really abstract mathematics that turns out to be useful in the real world, but they'll complain that maths should not be so mysterious. We can tell them that mathematics with infinity is elegant, beautiful, and liberating, but they still think maths should be a boring mechanical way of modelling finite real-world physics. They can't even accept that infinitely many natural numbers exist, because they think numbers are in brains, just like numbers are in computers, so only a finite amount of them can exist at any one time. We can explain that mathematics is abstract and nothing to do with physical reality, but they think that sounds spooky. They might witter on about pi and the square root of 2 relating to algorithms as opposed to being constant values. But we'll assume their rejection of these constants means that we would no longer be able to use them to solve real-world problems. Yes, some maths can map to the real world, but it's still completely abstract and it can produce structures that have no physical counterpart. This is so obvious to us, and yet the disbelievers just can't accept it. No matter how clearly we explain why they are wrong, some disbelievers just refuse to listen. These people need to be told how foolish they sound. It might not be very nice, but they need to be told for their own good. Their arrogance is astonishing. They think they know better than people with maths degrees, when the simple truth is they don't even understand what a real number is. Many of these deluded idiots even think they know better than quantum physicists. It beggars belief how delusional these people can really be. Sometimes you have to be cruel to be kind. If they haven't taken an advanced mathematics course, then their opinions are worthless. They are just embarrassing themselves with their ignorance and their arrogance. It sounds like they are saying we should throw away all mathematics, that's ever used infinity. It's pathetic. Not only do they think it's clever to come up with the idea that we shouldn't use infinity in mathematics, but they are so delusional that they think we're all going to say, "Oh yeah, you're right. All our work in mathematics has been a waste of time." That's how idiotic these people are. But even after being told how stupid they sound, they just carry on regurgitating the same old argument. So in the end, we have to make fun of them and tell them to go away. It's the only way to get rid of these crackpots. Once they know you think of them as being a joke, they'll go away and not bother you again. Then once they are silenced, sanity will be restored. We can then rest safe in the knowledge that we can conceive of the infinite. Mathematics is the language of the universe. It is discovered. And it can describe things that are otherwise beyond human comprehension. Once again, everything will make sense, and we can rest assured that it is an undeniable fact that 0.9 recurring does equal 1. This video is brought to you by extremefinitism.com.